that memory, hopefully caught on camera. That one that just when we look at it, we think, gee whiz, I wish I could do that all over again. It was so fantastic. I'm going to show you how to take a photograph and turn it into something fabulous, something that is frame worthy, something where when you look at it, it just transports you back to where you were and you just get all those wonderful feelings flooding back. Okay, so this is just a regular photograph. All right, it's a fabulous photograph. This is of my nephew Matt. Okay, he is in a rock band and a really cool guitarist. And what I had done is I sent this off for printing, had it printed onto some really cool artist paper. And now I'm going to work my magic and I'm going to show you how to take this and to turn it into this. So what I feel is very important here is to always stick with a theme. For example, this one is a rock theme. Obviously, he's got the guitar, he's doing his whole chuckle. So now I need to find images that are going to work with this theme. If it was wedding, maybe it would be bells and someone with a mic, something like that, all right? Or camping theme, tents and squirrels, whatever. So you don't want to detract from that theme. Basically, what you want to do is you want to enhance it. That is the whole idea. So now you've decided on your images and you do not have the vaguest clue of where you're going to put them. Don't panic, okay? Really don't panic. What you can do is actually print those images out, cut them out, and then shuffle them around the page and then work out where exactly you want to put them. Great idea. I don't do that, all right? I just kind of wing it and hope for the best. All right, then we need to get those images onto the page. This is where this little Posca Pen comes in. I choose the white acrylic with the finest nib. Take it slowly, and I slowly transpose those images, yes, freehand, onto my photograph. Ta-da! Yes, it can be quite daunting, but don't rush it. Take it slow. And remember, this does allow you a leeway for a couple of mistakes. Not that you can rub it out. No. But when you start to use your paint, you actually can cover it up. So no one is any the wiser. So listen, let's get to this project. Great. So I've got my paper, I've got my Posca Pen, I've got my designs, and slowly, did I say slowly, I start to draw them onto the paper or trace them, whatever works for you. Okay, remember there are no rules, especially when it comes to my type of art. Okay, so I didn't pay too much attention to that because the white against the black with the light behind it, you can't really see it too clearly. So moving on very fast. So now I'm going to paint what is the Tasmanian devil. I'm painting in white. Basically, it's just an undercoat. I have found out that if I want the colors to be brighter in certain areas, if I'm painting on a black background, I rather than paint them white and then let that dry and then paint my original color over the top. With the drums, which are in red, I haven't worried about that too much because the drums will kind of take care of themselves, as you will see. So where I want the colors to be very, very bright, I've actually done the white background. With the red drums, what brings me the brilliant color will be the fluoro red that I will be adding to the redness of the drums. Okay, so there I am with my white paint, doing my little thing, filling in all the lines. It's just basically paint by numbers. Okay, so the symbol over there, which I've just painted, that will be yellow, and definitely the yellow on the black does not work very well, so definitely that will be painted white. And the rest of my Tasmanian devil, he's got his little hands in the air, old drummer boy, so his hands are in the air and they are white too. Found myself a really nice rock logo. I like to put a bit of writing onto these photographs, so I decided I would go with this logo, and I'm going to be painting it red, but I wanted to stand out that little bit more. So from my mind, I thought I'd also add the white behind. And you know what, adding the white behind, like I said, paint by numbers. You just color it in. It's not easy. You've done all the major work by actually doing your design, and just make sure that your creatures or your writing or all that you do first with your Posca Pen, make that as accurate as possible, because that really helps when it comes to painting by numbers. Okay, I have a tongue in cheek when I say paint by numbers. Alrighty, so we are moving on. Rock logo almost done, just adding those final touches there, as you can see, and it's really gonna be cool. Alright, okay, white is done. Yes, moving on at last. Alright, so now we're on to Mickey Mouse, and I love Mickey. He's an iconic figure. I use him a lot. Everyone can recognize him and everyone seems to be able to relate to him. And we see Mickey in different shapes and forms, but here he is. He's got his guitar and he is thoroughly getting caught up in that whole music vibe. All right, again, I have painted certain patches of it white because I want those colors to stand out, that I'll be painting on top. Remember, you also need to let your white dry. So you'll see I jump around a lot in my painting, but what's nice about acrylic, it does dry relatively fast. So while you're working on one section, you can hop to the other section and back again, which is just what I've done now. Now you'll see with my Tasmanian devil, I just got carried away and I painted him merrily, and only to find out that I got a little bit carried away with him and realized that I forgot his beard. So you will see I eventually paint him white, and then not the whole of him, just his beard part, and then I start to paint cream over that. That was just a pure mistake, but painting is very forgiving, so don't be daunted. I was initially, but I am no longer. All right, and the more you practice, the better you get. So you've got something really cool to look forward to. So there is my Tasmanian devil. He has got his hands in the air. He's really enjoying this whole band chuckle, and he's starting to come to life. And then I'm adding some fluoro red to the crimson, and that is really enhancing my drums. I love fluoro red. I use it a lot. If you want to make your colors pop, you can just see how that comes to life. Near the edges of my drums, I make them darker, and as towards the middle of the drums, I give them that spot of fluoro red because I really find that that just makes them pop. My cymbal, you can see how the yellow is shining out so nicely against that white. If I hadn't used that white, it would have been a very, very dull color. Oops! And this was where I went wrong with the beard. I am quickly redeeming myself, guys. I really am. Like I say, painting is very forgiving. Just let it dry. Once you've painted, give it time to dry, because sometimes I get a little bit carried away and then I haven't let it dry and I make even a bigger mess. So patience is definitely a virtue in this game. And now I start to have fun as I start to decorate those drums. In the drums, I use 3 different colors. This gives it depth. As you can see, it gives it depth and it gives it a bit of vibrancy, which is really, really nice. I almost feel like it gives this movement to the painting, which also in his scarf that he's got on his head, I've used 3 different color blues there. Again, it gives movement. Now I'm busy with the banner. I also like to use a banner. I like to use fabric. I don't know if it comes from my design background, but I like to use fabric somewhere, somehow in my paintings. And that's exactly what I've done here. What I actually did with this particular one, I used the drum leg in the front of the banner, but you'll see later on I actually painted out and I put the drum leg behind. Now I'm covering the white. I'm using cream to actually as Mickey's skin tone, and there I'm adding a little bit of white for his very shiny teeth. Mickey's gloves I'm leaving white, just add a little bit of grey just to give depth. Again, the shorts are going to have that fluoro and crimson red just to make them pop, pop, pop. now you can actually see Mickey is coming to life. I'm adding all the black bits, and you can see how rich the black paint is against the print of the photograph. The guitar, I used 3 different shades of green. Around the hand, I've used the darker green, creating a bit of shadow, and then as I've moved out, I've used a little bit of fluoro green. Again, I use a lot of fluoro in my drawings because I really find that it just gives them this intense vibrancy. There, I'm back to the banner, adding a bit more white. I decided that I'm actually going to leave the banner white. I use grey and black to give it depth, but basically quite a lot of white on this, and you can see now it's starting to take shape. Also around the points of the R's there, you see I've added a bit of black, and that also creates the shadow. It makes the word rock automatically stand in front of the banner, which is the idea, that the effect that I actually wanted to achieve. So sometimes my things actually do work out. Okay, so now we're getting to add all that fluoro in. And you can just see that the word being on the white is just that much more brighter than the drums are. Can you actually see that? I think now it's really enhanced that. Moving back to Mickey. My favorite part is actually finishing these little characters off, like adding the detail of the eyes and the teeth, and if there are laces in the shoes. I love to do that type of thing, and you will see as you do it with yours, add those little bit extra, how it just comes to life. Even now in the word rock, those little lines make all the difference. Okay, so now I'm adding star in the banner, and later on I'll actually do fluorescent pink dots on that, and that also just adds another dimension to it. I have this thing that sometimes I think it can be a little bit of a flaw, but I do not see less is more at all. I love more, I add more, sometimes too much. So, but you know, that's just how we roll. Okay, so I added a couple of roses here because what is rock and roll without roses? I mean, they just go together. How often do we see any sort of logo portrayed with rock and roll and those roses there? Okay, so I did the white behind, I've painted a crimson red, and then after that I will add a little bit of fluoro, just again to make those roses pop. I added a little bit of green for leaves, and what I did in the front of the drum, you'll later see that I actually wrote rock on the front. With the roses, I added a lot of detail with regards to stems and leaves, and you'll see that in the final pick. Overall, I've had an immense amount of fun. All I had to do was add my $1 million signature, and we are done. And I hope you have fun doing yours. It's challenging, it's worth it. Thanks for joining. Remember to subscribe. Till next time.